My name is Kenneth Anthony, and on behalf of the 2015 Spring Intern Class of Collegiate 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee, we would like to welcome you to witness greatness firsthand. Thank you for coming.
Now listen to the Collegiate 100 induction ceremony. My name is Dominic Harris, and I had the pleasure of being their membership chair. Basically, I saw to it that they lived up to their full potential, and they showed a strong work ethic so that they could bring that to the organization. Now, I will tell you that we picked you all for a specific reason. We had high expectations that, by the way, they met exceedingly. I'll tell you all that. Parents and friends. Now, I will say that on behalf of the membership committee, we're very proud of you all. I know that we set the bar really high and that we had our ups and downs when it came to you all accomplishing things. But I will say that I'm very proud of you all. But basically what I want for you all is to take the same mindset that you had, the same determination, the same work ethic, and bring that into the organization. Does that make sense? Now granted, we are a mentoring organization, but we do give back to the community also. And I just want you to take everything that you all learn and apply that to the organization so that you may better it for next year and the year after that. Makes sense? Now, on behalf of myself, the membership committee, and the brothers and sisters of Collegiate 100, welcome to the family. Now, interns, or excuse me, new brothers of Collegiate 100, is there anything you would like to say?
We chose that quote because the only way we was going to be able to make it through this process is to put away childish things. And we had to put away childish things and bond, not only as brothers, but as young men to get things done. So we felt like that quote was a good reflection of our sins.
My name is and I serve as the secretary for the 2014-2015 school year. And I'm also a member of the membership committee for these young men. But I stand before you to introduce a great man by the name of Mr. Larry Chrisman. Dr. Larry James Chrisman II was born and raised in Shelbyville, Tennessee, with faith always been a big part of his life. In high school, he was a National Achievement Scholar. He was school's first ever Black senior class president, captain of the quiz bowl team, a member of the National Honor Society, all before receiving an honors diploma and a full academic scholarship to Middle Tennessee State University. While at MTSU, Dr. Chrisman was a 4-year member of MTSU's mock trial team, which annually competed in the national tournament in Des Moines, Iowa. His senior year, he was an All-American attorney and was voted one of the top 3 attorneys in the country. Dr. Chrisman was also chosen to be among a select group of men who were asked to be a part of the up-and-coming Collegiate 100 organization here at MTSU, which he considered to be a special honor. Upon receiving his degree from MTSU in 1988, Dr. Chrisman attended the Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law at the University of Memphis. At law school, Dr. Chrisman received Cali Excellence Awards for receiving the top grade amongst his peers for academic class, as well as twice being named Best Oral Advocate in both the school's mock trial competition and advanced moot court competition before receiving his Juris Doctorate of Law. Dr. Chrisman consequently served as a law clerk with the Shelby County Circuit Court and attorney assistant indigent. This will be worded. Prior to pursuing his career in leadership and education. Dr. Chrisman married his high school sweetheart in 2000, and they have twin 13-year-old sons, Joseph and Justin, and a 4-year-old daughter. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. After the death of his father in March 2009, Dr. Chrisman moved back to Middle Tennessee and began service as senior pastor of the church where he grew up. Dr. Chrisman was also served as a district superintendent overseeing 8 other churches in Middle Tennessee. Dr. Chrisman believes both in the power of God and the power of knowledge and encourages everyone he encounters to pursue both with diligence and faith. Y'all please do me a favor, give a warm round of applause for Mr. Larry Chrisman.
I feel very honored, first of all, to be in the presence of such a great group of men for this occasion and for each of you who gathered. I feel honored to also have been a part of the founding members of the Collegiate 100 here at MTSU and to see the organization still going strong and these great men who are standing before us with such great potential. Why don't you give them another round of applause? In my effort to be brief, if you will just bear with me, I feel a great amount of potential in the room. I feel also that we have some men who are what I would call overcomers and not survivors. The survivor mentality is one I feel that is overrated. A survivor is a victim that simply has not died yet. An overcomer is someone who is able to overcome their circumstances with victory. And I believe in this room we have many men who are not simply survivors, but are overcomers. Statistics would say that many of you should have been aborted in the womb. You should have become victims of the state child system. You should have become victims, and many of you also should have already been incarcerated in our penal system. Many of you should not have made it through high school and certainly not have gotten this far in college. So to this point, you are not survivors, but overcomers of the statistics that were against you. So then I ask you the question, why are you here? You are not here by some accident. You're not here by chance, but rather it is by providence that you have made it to the place where you are now. You are standing upon the shoulders of giants, men who died, whose sweat and whose tears allowed you to be here where you are now. So let's not forget those who came before us, but let us rise higher on the shoulders and stand tall, giving the reverence that each of those men who worked before us truly deserve. When I say, why are you here? I want you to consider also your destiny, your future, the importance of faith, and finally, the importance of determination. Faith is a very important part of our walk. When we consider faith, faith is what feeds into our purpose and makes purpose more important in each of our lives. Why did you get up this morning? Well, when you look in the mirror, you should look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say, well, I have purpose. I have a design. There is a reason why I am standing here. When you consider that purpose, I began to reflect upon the life cycle of the butterfly. The butterfly in its first stage, which is called the egg stage. The egg is strategically placed upon a leaf so that when the caterpillar emerges from the egg, it can immediately feed on the leaf upon which it is placed. That means that it has purpose and a design for its life before it ever truly exists. When I consider also our past and how we look at ourselves and consider our purpose, we must understand that we don't truly have a true vision of who we are because we do not yet see what we shall be. The problem with many of us is that because we reflect on our past and understand, even when you look at that image of yourself in the mirror, you are looking at your past. Because although light moves faster than sound, it does not move faster than time. So by the time that your eye is able to capture the image of yourself that is reflected off the glass, time has elapsed and you are literally looking into your past. So if you can't look into your own future, how can you assemble yourselves with friends who can help you make it to the next stage in your life? Well, I'll tell you, the first friend that you need to get rid of is the friend that can only see you for what you used to be. The friend that saw you in the infancy stage of your destiny. And that while in that infancy stage, they still judge you by their first impression of who you are. Life tells you that you only have one time to make a first impression. But what I come to tell you is that you can live beyond whatever impression that you ever made in your life. You can live beyond what other people think about who you are and who you should be. In fact, I dare you to state to yourself and believe for yourself that what you see is not all of me. I am more than what you see. I am greater than what your eyes are able to capture. I'm even greater than your imagination. The Bible says that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we can even ask or think. So there is a greater purpose. There is a greater me that I don't even see in myself. But what I do desire is to make sure that I'm careful about the people that I allow into the delivery room of my destiny. When you consider the persons that are allowed in the delivery room when a woman is giving birth to a child, there's only certain people who are allowed to be there. Often there is the father who is the one who helped fertilize the seed. There is also the anesthesiologist who is attending to the breathing of the mother. Their purpose is to make sure that the mother is okay. You'll also find in there the OBGYN, and the OBGYN is there for the purpose of making sure that the baby successfully makes the transition into the atmosphere. When you consider these people, you also ought to consider who your friends are. Are your friends there to help you, to inspire you to go further in your destiny? Or are your friends simply there to remind you of who you used to be? Do your conversations with your friends go like this? You think you're all that because you have this, or you think you're all that because you know this. And if you have friends in your life who can only see you for that, baby, it's time to get some new friends. It's time to step out into another place so that you can reach the destiny that has been designed for you. One of the first stages in the caterpillar's growth, the way that it knows that it's growing, is because it begins to shed its exoskeleton. It begins to shed its skin. That's the way that it shows its growth, by losing something. And I come to tell each of you in here, when you grow, when you go to the next stage in your life, in your destiny, you're going to lose something. You're going to lose some friends. Some friends are not going to be able to handle your success. Some of your friends are not going to be able to handle the idea or the concept that maybe you are a step or two ahead of them. Watch out for friends that are only friends as long as they can look down on you. As long as you are less than who they are. as long as you are a step below where they are. I need friends who not only will applaud my success, but they themselves have a dream and a desire to go higher and further. In fact, hanging around with people who have no aspirations can kill your own aspirations, can kill your own dreams. That's why in this delivery room, the OBGYN, they are attending to the needs of the baby. And sometimes that doctor, considering the necessity of the baby coming into the world, will tell you something, tell the mother something that she might not want to hear at that moment. And you need some friends in your life who will challenge you to say some things that you might not at that moment really want to hear. You need some friends that will tell you when you're feeling tired, you need to wake up and go to class. You need some friends who will tell you, you're not studying as well as you should. You need to put some more time in studying and get your GPA up. You need some friends who will tell you you're not focused enough. You need to focus on your goal. You need to focus on your major. You need to focus on the next stage and the next step in your life. The OBGYN does this in one simple 4-letter word when she speaks to the mother that although she's in pain, although she is not in the greatest area of comfort, even though her body is telling her to stop, even though those around her, she feels like they don't understand what's happening, their OBGYN will give her that one 4-letter word, and he or she will say, push. You don't feel like it right now, but you need to push. You might not, everybody in here doesn't understand what you're going through right now, but you need to push. There are hormones coursing through your body, and you are already beginning to feel the effects of the medication that have been pumped and injected into you. But despite all of these things that are going on, and despite your discomfort, you still need to push. You need people in your life who will tell you, even when it's uncomfortable, that you need to push. You need to go further. You need to try harder. You need to do more to reach out for the destiny that has been laid out and planned for you. I'm about to close, but one thing that I consider when in life, how we pursue life, is often the analogy of, I think of the analogy not only of the butterfly and the caterpillar, but I think of how the butterfly and the caterpillar might try to advise each other. In the caterpillar stage, it is difficult to imagine being anything other than a worm. Now, the unfortunate thing about the caterpillar is that it's not the best worm. It's not able to dig like the earthworm. It's not as mobile as the centipede or the millipede. But the problem is the caterpillar does not need to spend time being a better worm. It needs to keep in focus its dream and its destiny of flying. Its destiny is to go higher than where it is right now. And as young men, I want you to understand that the world right now will try and pull you to the side and try and derail your destiny by giving you a little money here and trying to entice you with this little job and entice you with this opportunity that may not be in line with your destiny. But you need to understand, as a caterpillar, you're not trying to be a better worm. Your destiny is to be a butterfly. Often when you then get to the stage where you have now spread your wings and become a butterfly, the problem then is when you light and fall on the ground, the caterpillar tries to give you advice on what you should do. You cannot no longer listen to the caterpillar on how you can proceed in the next stage in your life. But you must now rise to the level. The caterpillar can never imagine rising above the blades of grass, rising above the flowers of the field, rising above the bushes and shrubs, and definitely not above the trees. But as a butterfly, you can see with greater vision the destiny that has all along been planned for you. When I think of the cheetah and the rabbit, the cheetah is out in the grasslands of the savannah chasing the rabbit. And when you consider these two, they have very two distinct, different purposes when they're chasing and when they're running. The cheetah is running after the rabbit for obtaining a meal, but the rabbit is running for its life. When you consider how you're going to pursue your dream, how you're going to pursue your destiny, are you going to do it in the leisurely pace of a cheetah who simply is desiring a snack, simply desiring the taste of a few things of life? thing about the cheetah, if it is unsuccessful, it will simply move on to something else and find something else to eat. But if the rabbit loses, it literally loses its life. I challenge you men, don't be like the cheetah and treat life like a leisurely stroll. But as you pursue life, your dreams and your destiny, I want you to literally run after it for your life.
Y'all to repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that as a member of Collegiate 100, I will do my best to further the mission and objectives of the 100 Black men of Middle Tennessee. That I will strive to assist in personal progress of young Black males by serving as a role model and a tutor. That by doing so, I must continue to grow as a person, maintain character beyond reproach, and merge their personal success with those that I am of value to them. And if I'm not good to myself, therefore, I must not neglect my academic responsibilities, depart my role as a gentleman, nor compromise my dignity or self-respect. I will exemplify personal qualities in their presence, which are admirable and worthy of duplication. Furthermore, I pledge brotherly among my fellow collegians. Thank you.
Next, we'll hand out certificates. So, Mr. Kenneth Anthony, you're first. Mr. Alan Avant. Mr. Victor Blackwell. Mr. Kenneth Booker. Mr. Jonathan Braden. Mr. DeAndre Bradley. Mr. Martavius Carpenter. Mr. Deshaun Coleman. Mr. William Coleman, Mr. Gary Eccles, Mr. Richard Eccles, Mr. Marius Freeman, Mr. Mario Grigsby, Mr. DaCosta Harris, Mr. Darius Hennings, Mr. Joshua Dubois, Mr. Deshaun Jones, Mr. Travis Lytle, Mr. Breon Mason, Mr. Daniel Mitchell, Mr. Christopher Reddick, Mr. Martin Sanders, Mr. Robert Smith, and last but not least, Mr. Nels Todd. You may now take your pen off.
Gentlemen, you may be seated. Gentlemen, you may be seated. Good evening, everybody. My name is Israel Thomas. I am the membership co-chair for this great class that we had this spring. And we just wanted to take the time out to pass out a few superlatives amongst these new brothers that we have.
Right.
First of all, I want to give this first award to one of our most improved interns. He's gone through a lot. He showed up to his first interview without a suit on. He took a giant risk, but at the same time, he has made so many great strides from his interviewing skills to his mentoring skills. And we are also very proud of him. It was a unanimous decision. Mr. Nelson Todd, please come. We also have a second most improved award. This man has given away multiple shifts at his job while also maintaining perfect test grades, attending mentoring when he can, doing community service, and he's a great joy to be around, as well as his brothers love him very dearly. Mr. Gary Eccles. Now we will pass out the award for the hardest working intern. No great class has become great without a great leader. And this man has stayed up countless nights, received many messages from myself as well as Mr. Dominic Harris and the rest of the brothers to make sure that all his brothers have been doing what they're supposed to do, as well as exceeding our expectations with every bound. So I would like to take this time to recognize Mr. Daniel Mitchell. And last but surely not least, we